Atma Namaskaram, Siddha Samajam, Brochure, 1921. Siddha Samaj founder, His Holiness Swami Sivananda Paramahamsa. Siddha Samajam Head Office, Siddha Samajam PO, Vadakara, Kerala, Kozhikode District, South India, Pin Code 673104. Branches: Vadakara Siddhashramam, Siddha Samajam PO, Vadakara, Kozhikode District, Pin Code 673104. Kayanna Siddhashramam, Cherukad PO, via Atiyodi, Kozhikode District, Pin Code 673527. EU Siddhashramam, Kurumathur PO, via Karimbam, Kannur District, Pin Code 670142. Mannurkara Siddhashramam, Paruthipalli PO, via Kuttichal, Thiruvananthapuram District, Pin Code 695574. Ammapalayam Siddhashramam, Ammapalayam PO, via Athur, Salem District, Tamil Nadu, Pin Code 636141. Siddha Vidya definition. Siddha Vidya is the technique of learning by which the jiva, that is life force that exists in us and gets out downwardly, should not be thus let out, but should be always conducted upward and downward internally, that is, thereby the Brahmarandram in us is hit open by the jiva, and the jiva is got controlled and settled therein. Which one is got destroyed from oneself, that is to be achieved without being destroyed. That destroyed from oneself is jiva. That jiva, thus destroyed, should be got controlled oneself without letting to destroy. Then that jiva is achieved to oneself. That is called Siddha Vidya, Swamiji's order. Siddha Samajam, a spiritual, that is religious, charitable establishment for world welfare and world peace and universal brotherhood. Aim and function. Aim. The very cause that Siddha Samajam stands for is world welfare and world peace. It will be achieved only in a free, independent society, free from fear and bribery. Siddha Vidya. Now the world is devoid of peace. It is because due to raga dvesha, that is love and hatred, such as I, mine, my wife, my children, my relatives, my property, I must possess, my dependents must be provided and saved, he is a foreigner, he must not be provided, he must be killed, etc. People quarrel among themselves, get adogati and die. But take the case of birds. They have no such ragadvesha. They live with equality and fraternity and lead a peaceful life. For them, if mother, all are mothers. If father, all are fathers. If children, all are children. Mankind has lost the peace and tranquility and universal fellow feeling that the birds enjoy. It is because the birds have their prana under their control, while the so-called man loses it due to downward flow, that is adogadi of jiva. The remedy is to get upward flow, that is urdhvagati of jiva, which is known as Brahma Vidya, Pranayama, etc. By Herculean effort, His Holiness has himself founded the sublime Vidya, the way of deliverance of Jiva, the way to be immortal, the way to salvation and supreme bliss, and preached it as Siddha Vidya. It is alone the remedy for the miseries of the world. It is alone the root cause to lead a life as that of birds. It is what the great teachers of the world, like the Buddha, the Christ, the Mohammed, the rishis of old, etc., etc., had advocated. It is what the Vedas, the Upanishads, the Bible, the Quran, etc., teach. Hence, out of dire sympathy upon the suffering mankind, His Holiness advocated this supreme cult throughout the world at large and founded Siddha Samaj. The foundation to practice this Vidya, attain salvation, that is moksha, and enjoy the sublime bliss that His Holiness enjoyed. Assets. Assets of the Samajam are only its soil. It belongs to none in particular, but to all the existing as well as the oncoming members of the Samajam who work and live there unitedly as uterine brethren without any disparity of caste and creed. The existence of privacy is the root cause of all miseries. Hence, the property is made common. None can either misappropriate or mortgage or sell the property of the Samajam. There is nothing of the sort of any economic activity in the Samajam. It has to do no material service. Everything is to make the Samajam self-sufficient, just an example to be followed by the world. Brotherhood. It is to do due to lack of feeling or fellow belief that people fall prey to fear and bribery, get immersed in unnatural bondages of family relations and suffer. Hence, the Samajam aims at fostering fellow feeling and fellow belief, universal brotherhood. There are no such relations such as husband, wife, son, daughter, etc. in the Samajam. All are the children of one mother, all brethren. Discipline and routine. A bribe-free life is possible only through high morale and discipline. Hence, strict discipline is observed in the Samajam. Every day, 8 hours are devoted for prayer. 3 a.m. to 5:20 a.m., 12 noon to 2:20 p.m., 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., 7:30 p.m. to 9:50 p.m. The rest is used for earning the livelihood. Diet is strictly vegetarian. Drinking liquors, taking intoxicants such as opium, ganja, etc., smoking cigar, bidi and cigarette, using snuff, chewing tobacco, arecanut and lime, and the use of tea, tamarind and mustard are totally avoided. No caste or professional titles should be used. Superstitions, funeral rites, etc. are dispelled. Except simple pure white clothes, no other dresses such as shirts, trousers, etc. and colored dresses are used. No hair cutting or shaving. Religion is religion of God and caste is human. In short, the Samajam has to lead a life in accordance with nature. Means for livelihood. Agriculture is the chief means for livelihood. Others are trade and crafts. Samajam is meant for one to live by his own work without depending on others. There is no compulsion in taking work. One can do any work, whatever they do, it must be done together and the fruits are enjoyed equally, commonly, and collectively. None is paid for his labor. Instead, their labor as well as their life is dedicated to promote the supreme cult of the Samajam. The Samajists carry on agriculture by hard working in the Samajam land property, but the produce is very low due to the poor quality of land and water scarcity. Hence, they are resorted to the production and sale of Ayurvedic medicines. It is from the income derived out of these the primary needs of ashramites such as food, clothing, etc., child care and education, treatment of sick, reception of guests, annadan, that is serving food, management of samajam, Kartika festival, etc., are met. Thus, the income of the Samajam is wholly used for public charitable purposes and no part of it is spent for any selfish activity. Food for stomach. One of the highest form of charity that the Samajam perform is serving food. The ashramites take in food only after supplying food to all outsiders, including the poor and needy, present during the meal's time. If one comes hungry, there is no food prepared, the Samajists are bound to prepare food at once and supply the hungry. Sakti Sapiti. Other than children, sick, and persons gone outside, none should take food separately. All should observe Saktini Sapiti, the one entitled to a Brahmin alone. All sit and take in collectively solid foods mixed together and served in a single plate or leaf is Saktini, and that of liquid foods in this manner is Sapiti. Thus, Samajists enjoy food commonly and evenly. Celebration. There is no celebration at all in the Samajam other than the birthday celebration of its founder. It is celebrated as Kartika festival. Festival in the sense that thousands and thousands of people gather and they are all fed with food freely in the morning and afternoon. In addition, discourse on spiritual matters as well as prayer, practice of Siddha Vidya is allowed. No other rituals are observed. Food for thought. Whoever visit the Samajam are fed with the ideals of the Samaj. The publications of the Samajam are the best means of propagation. They are published as low-priced edition in all the four Dravidian languages and in Hindi and English. Initiation in Siddha Vidya is given for the thirsty heart provided one follows the rules of conduct for Siddha Vidyatis. Before getting initiation, one is expected to go through Siddha Vedam thoroughly. Patasala, school. The Samajam runs one Patasala at the head office as a residential school for the children of the Samajam. After completing education there, they are sent back to the ashrams. Admission. Even though admission in the Samajam is always open to all, irrespective of sex, caste, creed, and country, before exploring for entrance in the Samajam, one must get initiated Siddha Vidya, practice it, and follow the rules of conduct for Siddha Vidyatis, and he must get acquainted with Siddha Samaj and understand it thoroughly. On knowing all these, if he decides to dedicate his life for the noble cause of the Samajam and is ready to abide by Siddha Samaj rules, he must leave all family relations and private holdings in his name, acquire one certificate from the local village munsif or sub-inspector of police to the effect that he belongs to no parties at all and submit it along with the application to the president of the ashram where he wants to join. From then onward, he will be kept under probation for some period. When he seems fit to join, he will be got enrolled as a member, and from now on he will be treated equally and freely among with other members of the ashram. Thus, the Samajam performs the noble career of bringing the whole world under one roof of truth, which will help lead thereby to establish world government. Organization. The Samajam is organized by the five general officers, that is, General President, General Secretary, General Representative, General Treasurer, and Minute Editor. All are elected by the Samajam General Body. Each Siddhashram under the Samajam is organized similarly by five officials appointed by the General President. Also, there is one daily minuter in each ashram in order to take note in the daily minutes whatever he sees and hears in the ashram. The General President is the head of the administration and has the supreme power to take disciplinary actions and punish, even to dismiss any member of the Samajam. But even that General President, if he deviates from the Samajam rules, is put into trial and punished by the Samajam General Body. Thus, the Samajam is purely a democratic setup. Siddha Samajist. Truth and religion cannot exist together. Hence, from the advent of religions, the world is devoid of the supreme qualities of human life such as truth, equity, honor, unity, protection of the pious, fraternity, and observance of dharma, that is, rule of law. Hence, by destroying the religions and establishing truth, etc., the supreme qualities of human life, whoever endeavor to keep the world in existence, they alone are Siddha Samajists. Samaj and Siddha Vidyarthis. The Samaj is the Taravadu, that is, parentage of Siddha Vidyarthis who follow strictly the rules of conduct of for Siddha Vidyarthis. There are crores of people who have got initiated in Siddha Vidya and live throughout the world. The Samajam expects every citizen of the world to become Siddha Samajist or Siddha Vidyarthis. World Sanctuary. Siddha Samajam is the world sanctuary, the place where the suffering masses of the world will find protection to their very life and enjoy the life in this world as that of birds without any entanglement. By birth, birds have always the upward course of breath, that is Urdhva Gati, the one we have only during sleep. One can attain that only by practicing yoga, that is Siddha Vidya. We should keep the mind ever upward. Just like water on lotus leaf, whatever we do should be done unaffectionately along with the single course of breath, that is Gadi, the upward course of life. It is due to the disappearance of this ever living way to truth, mankind has lost itself in the downward worldly life has forgotten the real and natural principles of trusteeship, that is, common ownership, and has taken to the mean, destructive, selfish individual ownership, which is the root cause of all dangers, conflicts, unrest, etc. the world faces today. Thus, forgetting one's own life and following the artificial inhuman activities, the atmosphere is being polluted and the world is at the fringe of utter destruction. Only by practicing Siddha Vidya, the world will be taken to natural way of life and got rescued. It is thus to save the mankind from utter destruction that His Holiness Swami Sivananda Paramahamsa has incarnated, propagated Siddha Vidya and founded Siddha Samaj, the very world sanctuary providing the mankind with all means for survival. Samaj Dharma, that is charity. Thus, the Samajam is in miniature a free, independent society, free from fear and bribery, and shows the world practically the very way to egalitarian society. Hence, the very existence of the Samajam itself is the very embodiment of Dharma, that is charity, and it is to keep it in existence, to practice and propagate the ideals of the Samajam, that the income derived out of the very toiling and moiling of its members is utilized. Protection of life, deliverance of Jiva is truly the protection of the humanity. In other words, protection of the universe, and it is the supreme kind of charity that the Samajam performs practically. Whatever the Samajam does, it is all to save life in this universe and thereby to keep the universe in existence. At present, due to the inhuman activities, the world is full of problems and there is no safety of life. Siddha Samajam stands as the only practical solution to do away the inhuman activities and save the mankind from utter destruction. It practically shows the world the right path to become human. Also, the Samajam stands as the very answer to all the problems of the world, such as food, clothing, housing, education, property, labor, caste, creed, etc. Whatever may be the problems, worldly or spiritual, the Samajam stands as the very answer to all, and only through the Samajam way of life the world will secure peace and prosperity and become welfare and safety. That is the one and single treatment to all the conflicts and dangers of the world, is to sacrifice the base selfish thought of individual possession and accept the sublime unselfish Samajam way of life. Once this Vedantic socialist life is appreciated and realized, Thy kingdom is achieved. It is to make known this message practically to the world that the Samajam carries on practically and silently its noble pioneering service of world welfare and world peace by practicing and propagating the ideals of the Samajam, the most supreme act of charity. Thus, the Samajam, all in all, is a spiritual and charitable establishment for world welfare and world peace. A message. On this age of turmoil, the Samajam entreats every citizen of the world to accept the Samajam way of life, foster universal brotherhood, save life in this world, secure world welfare and world peace, and thereby enjoy sublime bliss. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Siddha Samajam publications. Siddha Vedam in Malayalam, English, Hindi, Kannada, Tamil and Telugu. Number 2. Rules of conduct for Siddha Vidyarthis in Malayalam, English, Hindi, Kannada, Tamil and Telugu. Number 3. Kerala Anacharam in Malayalam and Tamil. Number 4. What is caste in Malayalam, Tamil, Kannada and Telugu. Number 5. Life for World Peace in Malayalam, Tamil, English, Kannada and Telugu. Number 6. Lokakshema Prakasikai in Malayalam, Tamil, English, Telugu. Siddha Vidya in Malayalam, Tamil, English. For books details, please do correspond with General Treasurer, Siddha Samajam Head Office, Siddha Samajam PO, Vadakara, Kozhikode District, Kerala, South India. Pin code 673104. Phone number 0496 252 8551. Atma Namaskaram.